Did it again. We are like, woo!
Woohoo!
Oh, what's up? This is the Maudalorian, and we just had the finale for season 2. We have so much to talk about. We have feelings to feel. We've got breakdowns and predictions for next season. But before we get into that, we've got Leo back. Leo, can you please talk about your new name?
Yeah, so I decided instead of going with the traditional Skywalker, I went ahead and just did Air Stepper, change it up a little bit. Usually I'm Mandalorian on here, but after what happened last episode, there's no way I couldn't change the name.
All right, we've got Air Stepper. And for our finale, we've got Ash Crossan, who is a face that you've seen through so many interviews online and across the interwebs. She's probably the biggest Star Wars fan that I personally know. Ash Crossan, everyone. Hey, Ash.
I didn't come up with a fun name. Now I'm embarrassed.
Ahsoka?
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Okay. The first thing that we do at the start of every episode, what did you rate it out of 10?
10 out of 10. Amazing. Yeah. I had tears. I think there was just I was smiling with tears going down my face for ever since we saw the X-Wing, last 15 minutes or whatever that was.
Amen. Yeah, an easy 10 out of 10 here as well. I literally jumped out of my chair and screamed, and I went nuts. I was crying, happy. Jeez. Somebody said 11 out of 10 in the comments. I might be on that level as well.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. 11 out of 10 there. We got 10 out of 10 from Nick. 9.5.
Wow. What's that 0.5?
The CGI.
10 for the ep and the season as a whole. Ooh, galactic pop mark. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I think I want to give it a 10 as well. I liked the fact that we knew what the last episode was going to be. They have to do a rescue mission of Grogu. What I really liked is that it looked like by the first half, it was complete. And they did a little feint. And then it was and then real shit happened. And I liked the pacing of it all. And then it was that last 15 minutes was just blah, 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 blah. And it was amazing. And it was great. And it was, it's a 10 episode. It's a 10 out of 10. Yash, I love the episode. The emotional ending was 10 out of 10. My next question, who cried? Who cried?
I cried.
Easy. Definitely cry.
For so many different reasons, too. It was so much at once because I was like I mentioned, you see the X-Wing and I'm like, no, yes, absolutely. Tears just start coming down. I'm like, they're doing this. I'm crying for that reason. And then we have the emotional send-off and I'm just all over the map. Ugh.
And of course, did everyone else for that last sort of 15 minutes also have the reminiscing of what you felt in the last final moments of Rogue as well? Rogue
One, yeah, the Darth Vader scene. It's almost shot for shot.
Yeah,
exactly the same.
Reverse.
Yeah, it's so cool. We finally get to see Luke using a lightsaber. I mean, we got to see it a little bit in return, but using that green lightsaber, we've never seen him use it to that capacity. So
that's what's exciting for me. He's a Jedi Knight at this stage, and I love seeing him in his full capacity. And so that was really, really exciting for me. He got a little moisture in the eyes. Good thing there's moisture farming.
I thought the cherry on top to it all too was when he used a force choke on the last Dark Trooper. I was like, dude, so cool. Yep, exactly. Does imitate it like father, like son.
And this is the thing, the light side and the dark side. It's that's just from a certain point of view, isn't it? When you think about it. All righty, so let's talk about what happened in this episode. It kicks off where I love the tavern, I call it the tavern setting, where it's that's where you get your quest and that's where you set off into the adventure. But in this instance, we are back here to try and get the help from our lovely and favorite Mandalorian. We got some more Boba, which is fantastic, and there's a really kind of easy exchange here. It's super transactional. She's like, "I'll help you with your little green dude. I want the Darksaber. If you can make that happen, we're good." And he's like, "I don't care about the Darksaber. I just care about the little kid." Great exchange. Let's do it. Did you, in any way, kind of go and feel weird about that?
Not for me. I expected her to show up in the last episode, especially because just to name drop a little bit, when I interviewed her, she kind of hinted that she would be back this season, and I was like, okay, she has to be in this episode. And they both want to go after the same guy for separate reasons, so why wouldn't they team up? And I'm just so glad they did. And Sasha Banks, she also said in an interview she wasn't coming back, so I was very excited to see her.
And I just spoke to Simon.
That's exactly. Nathan S. actually said in the comments exactly how I felt. Bo-Katan coming off a little villainous. I was uneasy about it. I felt the tension. I knew it was kind of like, okay, they have the similar goal. They both have something to get out of this. But I don't know, Bo-Katan, especially later on in the episode when we'll talk, she wants that Darksaber, and she is not going to stop it.
It's the key to her planet and the restoration of Mandalore. Like, this is so symbolic in so many ways. And it's like, that is her Grogu. That is, I need it more than anything else in my life, and my obsession revolves around this. It's a status of power. So I kind of get it. And again, it's like, I don't really see her as a villain, but I see her knowing that nothing is going to get in the way of what she wants, which is a villainous trait, I guess. But then Nando, by that account, is a villain.
There was a conversation last episode that he had with Bill Burr's character Mayfeld, and he was like saying something along the lines of, when you get desperate, you do things, you do whatever it takes to get the job done. And so that too could be viewed as a villainous trait.
I think my dog's farting.
Zelda!
Okay. Sorry. Oh, girl. Like, my eyes are watering up here. Woo-wee. All right, so the exchange has been made. We know what needs to happen, but then we hear about the plan. Now, my notes, because I like to write about what goes down here, and I think I remember saying, where are we? Oh, I liked the quote, not all Mandalorians are bounty hunters, like, just to kind of reestablish that. I don't know, I thought that line was really, really cute. But then, where is it? Oh, we know the plan going in, which means it's bound to go to shit. So, like, with story writing, when a plan has been developed, you either save the plan where they go, all right, this is the plan, and you don't know about it, and then you see it kind of unfold while it's happening, or you know about the plan, and so when you go in there, you know what to expect, and it always goes to shit. So as soon as like they actually mapped out the plan and they had the little holographs and like, right, you go into there, you go there, we're going to be the distraction, you're going to be the shadow, da-da-da. I was like, cool, that's not going to happen.
That's going to go really wrong.
I didn't know how or why, but I just knew that something was up. We were talking off camera about this awesome foursome that we saw with all the ladies. So we had Sash, we had Bo-Katan, we had Fennec, and we had Cara Dune. And what I said was like, also was like, yeah, this feels really, really powerful when they're kind of going about their choreography and they're blasting and it's so cool. I was like, this is awesome. And then it clicked. I was like, oh my God, it's all women. And I love how long it took me to figure that out. It wasn't spoon feed. It wasn't like, ready, ladies? Okay.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame style.
What did you guys
that felt a little forced. Yeah, just the moment where it's like Cara and Fennec, and you're like, the stormtroopers come and they're like, uh-oh, and then just the two Mandalorians just come up the side in their jetpacks, and they're like, beep, beep. You like all my sound effects, but yeah, you guys get what I'm saying.
When they were just laying out those stormtroopers and clearing out the halls, that was just so cool. I mean, Fennec's rounding corners and just zapping dudes down. There was a really cool shot where a stormtrooper actually shot at her and she just leans back. The blaster goes right by her. And it was that moment where I saw them kind of all congregate. I was like, wow, this is all ladies. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I love that Cara Dune shooting that one imp in the face. Like, he doesn't have a face now.
That was interesting because Din's reaction to it, I was kind of like, that's curious, because he was just like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, you grow, girl. Oh, that's the one to beat.
Oh,
thank you, Doug, bringing the puns. That's fantastic. We're talking about sort of like the plan and the perspective of good and evil, villainous or hero. Like, it's really a blurry line from whatever point of view you're looking at. Here's the plan. 15 minutes later, nope. I mean, they're still a part of a galaxy-wide fascist regime that contributes to plenty of genocide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not all the same. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Lucas. Yeah, oh my god, you grow girl is my new favorite thing. Thank you, Nick. It's like a non-insulting Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels wasn't necessarily insulting because they were doing it in an era where it needed to be like, this is gonna work, you need to pay attention. But we've gone to a point now where we don't have to put the red arrows pointing to it. We can actually just, we've earned that, and it's thanks to things like Charlie's Angels that we've been able to earn that. So yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Maud.
Yeah. Yes, this priority. Cara Dune and Fennec were at the front line. No armor, no fear. It felt fucking great. I love.
And when her like gun was jammed, she was just like, yeah, that's good.
And this is good, Tyrell. Yeah, my buddy said that Ming-Na didn't need to dodge. It was stormtrooper firing. So
it's true. They never hit their target.
It's so stupid all the time, and it just like I don't know what I expect, but when they were coming into the like TIE fighter or whatever, the stormtroopers were like, hey, stop right there. Like they didn't know they were being attacked all of a sudden. They're like, what are you doing?
Honestly, like especially next to the Beskar armor, it's like their plastic sort of like Halloween store-bought armor now just looks so tacky. It's interesting to kind of see that comparison. I just like seeing Mando armor. It's just beautiful.
Beautiful.
I think that Bo may possibly learn to not be so stuck up on code. I think she's got the greater good in mind. She's got her eyes on a prize, and it's tunnel vision. That's what I think.
And the way they reacted to Boba and him not being a true Mandalorian, I don't know if she's gonna loosen up on that code.
She's kind of got like a Daenerys Targaryen thing going on right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know how that ended.
Well, hopefully we have different writers for this one.
Yeah. I actually cried after the Game of Thrones finale, but it was for a very, very different reason. Very different reason. I want to talk about this comment that Nathan made, saying, I disagree, Maud. Bo is villainous because she was given the saber freely, but would rather kill Mando for it, for the story. No, I think I'm going to actually you just there. If you picture Moff Gideon kind of being like Dumbledore in this situation, he's basically saying that the Darksaber is the Elder Wand. And that is, you have to compete in a duel and you win the rights to the saber if you win the duel. So if you can't be given the saber, it's that same sort of thing with the Elder Scone. It's like Elder Wand. It's like you can use it, but it's powered by the owner of it. And because Bo-Katan didn't defeat Moff Gideon, she's not the rightful owner of the Darksaber. And that is Mando. That's Din at the moment. So she in a bit of a pickle. And I saved this picture because I think that it says everything. Nope, this one. Look at the difference between like, this is cool, to that.
Oof.
Like,
look at that look.
You are standing in the way of what I need now. He's just like, take it, I don't want it. And she's just like...
So I have a question. What's the deal this time around? Because didn't Sabine essentially gift Bo-Katan the lightsaber or the Darksaber before? So why now does she have to like win it in battle versus like Din just being like, here you go?
Okay, I've got an answer for this. It really does come down to Disney just pulling a big dick move over Warner Brothers because Harry Potter is Warner Brothers' biggest franchise. So they just wanted to take something that was theirs and put it into the...
Definitely it.
That was it, for sure.
Actually, I'd love to ask the viewers that. What do you think? Yash says, who cares? Well, Bo does. And that's what we're just
very much so.
Derek says, thank you, Ash. Good question.
Oh, thank you.
Good question. Stephen says, Bo did have it, but lost it, so she just can't take it back. It would be dishonorable. And as we know, Mandos and the law and the order and the codes are very important. I think she lost it in battle, so she must win it back. And maybe the Mandalorians didn't rally around Bo the first time because they knew that she didn't earn it properly. Oh. Damn. But they needed to discuss it. This is the hardest part about weaving in story to an already established sort of story that's canonized, and that is introducing information after when it actually affects everything that's already in place. And I think that that's what we're finding here, right, Ash?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that in the show because I think especially like with Din and the helmet, everyone was like, well,
Yeah.
like Sabine just walks around like, what's up? So I don't really get it.
Yeah, and it's never really been a thing for anyone else. It's just that I think Boba Fett was so iconic that he always did wear it, and we didn't really see his head until we saw him as a kid in all the Clone Wars. But yeah, that's an interesting point as well. So we move back into the fight. I actually just spoke to Simon, who is what's the character's name? Axe Woves. Wolves? I thought it was Wolves. Woves. Who is the third Mandalorian that we saw, I think, in episode 3 when we are introduced to the new Mandos in Bo-Katan. She was flagged by 2 people. And in this instance, we only saw her with 1. And I was like, hey, bud, where were you? And he said, you, asshole. He said, use the Force. And then said, amazing finale. Maybe Axe Woves was ... elsewhere ... maybe not.
Spin-off to be announced.
So Ash and I were saying that it's because we wanted an all-women scene, and he would have gotten in the way and wrecked that vibe. So okay, we'll see.
Down for that.
Thank you, Nick. Yes, we're all on that. Yeah, I'm trying to get answers for us on that one. Doug is saying that Sabine felt not worthy and passed it, so perhaps that makes a difference. Din is straight up don't care, take it. So maybe that is different. It's less noble in a way.
I think either way, they have to explain this at some point.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that plot hole, but somebody had brought it up a comment earlier that it is possible that maybe the people didn't rally behind her the first time, so now she's like, I have to actually earn it.
Yeah.
No, Mando, I'm not just going to take it, my man.
Yeah, because she'd done that once before and it didn't really work. I mean, look at Mandalorian. Look at Mandalorian.
No.
Woo, you can't. Galactic Popmark says it was given when the Republic which turned Empire. So the act is traitorous. Now it has to be one.
Oh.
Okay. When will we find out if Book of Boba is season 3, or will it be separate to Mando? It's a whole separate show, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yeah,
Spin-off, I think.
I have to imagine they're going to like actually put out a press release or something on Monday, because when I first saw that, I was like, oh, they're putting out a book. And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, oh, because when Kathy Kennedy was on the investor call, she was like talking about all the new shows in The Mandalorian. And then she was like, the next chapter is coming December 2021. And the way she phrased it was really confusing, because I was like, is she talking about The Mandalorian or is she talking about Ahsoka? But then she's talking about the Book of Boba Fett. But in my opinion, I feel like this is a different show. What do you guys think?
When I first saw it, I thought it was like they were going to make The Mandalorian and then split them into individual chapters. Like, okay, Din's story is done. Now we're going to go into Boba and then maybe Bo-Katan. But then I remembered that there was that rumor about the Boba Fett show. So I'm thinking Book of Boba is its own spin-off series and will maybe come out at the same time as the next Mandalorian chapter, or maybe...
Or it's buying a little bit more time.
Right after. Yeah.
I think it'll be a little bit before we get the next season of The Mandalorian. I think they want to like give it time.
That's it. And I think this is how they're going to stagger it out.
Yeah.
But, Boba and Fennec team up. I'm in.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Like, what is there to do there?
This is what I was thinking about.
Going to be like, let me tell you a story about how I got out of the Sarlacc pit.
Well, they're going to get fat.
Got to get that in there.
Yeah.
First of all, it was Jabba the Hutt, and now Bib Fortuna has just like nearly jabbed it out.
And
so
thick.
they're going to eat really well. That's what's going to happen. They're going to sit there and they're like, this is great. Life's fantastic. It will all be worth it. What I find is really interesting, and I had a thought about this, which is Jabba the Hutt obviously is a criminal sort of crime. He's a crime lord, and he's running the underground from Tatooine. So there's such status in Jabba's palace because Boba Fett and Fennec are chaotic neutral. I guess.
Yeah, I think that's right for them.
They could easily step up to replace and see the potential of, that, because Jabba was the sort of pinnacle for this crime syndicate.
Right.
You remove the pillar and it's all come crumbling down. And so there's such a great opportunity there to literally reestablish sort of like the underbelly of Tatooine and beyond. So, I mean,
And there was
He's not good. He's not.
Wasn't there like a Star Wars Underworld show that they were going to do, or movie that they were going to do that like went away?
Oh, really?
Remember this? Yeah.
I don't know about it.
Yeah, there was like I'm like blanking on what it was. Somebody in the chat to remind me. But yeah, they were gonna do like an Underworld show or movie or something. So I wonder if this is like gonna pull from that a little bit.
Underworld, not underground. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. That's where the slaves got free, though.
I actually went into this episode thinking a couple of scenarios might happen. I was thinking maybe Boba was working against them.
Hector! Hey, Hector, if you're
welcome.
here and you're on the computer, I can send you the link and you can jump on in to talk about this if you want. It's totally your
Join
call,
in.
Hector.
Join, Hector. Do it.
Join.
That's really funny.
But
Anyone who's watching, come on in.
I was wondering if Boba might betray them, or somehow like somebody in that group of people was going to be kind of like a mole, because I feel like in season 1 and in other media, especially for Boba, a lot of these people were set up in like a gray area besides maybe Bo and Mando. A lot of them were kind of that neutral, so I was wondering if maybe Moff Gideon would end up turning people against each other. But it looks like Boba may take over a crime syndicate instead, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I would have been so curious to see what happened if Boba did not peace out in time for like Luke to show up. Like,
Right.
oh, hey, I lived.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Oh man.
This is amazing. Thank you, Nick Anderson.
West Tycoon, born and raised.
Nice.
Say Budge.
Chilling out, merching out in the desert when a Sarlacc pit nearly made me die.
Then a couple of guys that were up to no good. I'm talking Boba Fett and Fennec in the neighborhood. Yeah, this is cool. Boba Fett's going to be the new Scarface in the Star Wars universe. I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Right on.
There was going to be a 13-13 game. Yeah, is that the one you're talking about?
Oh.
I don't think so.
Because that was a Boba Fett game that was kind of going to explore all of that. That's really quite interesting.
Cool.
50 scripts were developed? Whoa. Okay.
Dang. Well, all right.
Yeah. This was
Oh, sorry. Ash, you go. My bad.
Oh, no, sorry. I ended up Googling. Star Wars Underworld, working title of a proposed live-action television series that was set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And in 2010, George Lucas announced that the series was on hold due to budget constraints.
Oh, man.
50 Underworld scripts have apparently been written. Whoa, that's amazing. Hector Nevarro, if you're still watching, check your Twitter DMs. Just check
Join
your
us, Hector. Join.
Just check your Twitter DMs. So heading back to what happened in the show, love that tangent. So we've got the two teams that split off. One of them is going to take out all the stormtroopers who can't fire. They're going to be the distraction. They're going to draw everyone out, while Mando is going to sneak on in and rescue Grogu. The only problem with that is
His little restraints.
Moff Gideon's got other plans. This is he's so sad. Grogu's so sad. And he's got he's like nearly getting a little haircut from a Darksaber as well. Wasn't it?
I thought we were going to lose a couple baby hairs there. Just the hair. Oh, hi, Hector.
Welcome.
Fantastic. This is so cool. Hey, Hector. This is great.
My God, look at your setup. It looks so good.
I guess this is what happens when we're all in quarantine, is that I'm just sitting at home. Yeah, sure, I can join.
Yeah, last time I saw it, it was not as developed. It looks great.
Oh, yes. This is a nice work in progress. I have my Star Wars section over there. You guys can't see all of my Star Wars action figures all over there, but they're there. I still haven't ordered my Mando because I found out they're coming out with the Mando with the child two-pack. So I'm like, I got to wait for that one. Plus with the Beskar armor. I don't know if you guys are action figure heads. Ash, you're looking at me like I'm a psychopath, so I'm going to...
No, I'm reading the comments.
Okay. Okay, well, they came out with Season 1 Mando where he had his pre-Beskar armor action figure, and I was like, I'm going to get it. And then with the armor, I'm like, I'm going to wait. And then they came out with that, but then they came out with one with him and the child. Anyway, interesting. What did y'all think of this episode?
So good.
I've been talking too much. I'm going to pass it on to you guys.
You guys were kind of breaking it down as you're going through the plot. Did we do like overall thoughts? I'm dying to know. Leo, you said so good.
I mean, just getting where'd mom go? I mean, just getting Luke Skywalker back was just so mind blowing. It's crazy. I actually went on to Twitter 4 days ago and I said, what if Moff Gideon is trying to get away with Grogu and Luke Skywalker is the one to actually stop him? And it turns out, he stops the Dark Troopers. And seeing just a Rogue One rehash, but with Luke in it. Just so good.
Ash, you talk to Dave Filoni all the time. You guys are best buds.
Friends.
You're best friends. You're on the first name basis. You could text them. Did you have any idea that they were gonna end that way? Did you have any inkling? Because you're the person. Also, I have to give you credit on the internet. You're the person who asked him flat out, "Would you ever bring back Boba Fett?" And he was like, "Interesting." And so it's like, you were right. You got it. Did you ever have a conversation with Filoni about revisiting the core characters from the original trilogy? Like, did you have any idea? I'm dying to know.
So they didn't do any press for this season, so there were no real interviews. So I have not talked to him at all. I'm dying to. Dave, if you're watching this stream, I would love to have a post season interview with you. Just hit me up. So no, I mean, I've asked him like very vaguely in like the first season of like, hey, like, will you bring back some like canon characters or stuff like that? And he was like, haha, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I had a feeling they were going to do like a couple of things, but this was just like a family reunion type situation this season. It's been amazing. And like, it made the most sense for it to be Luke, but I was like, they're going to not do that. I'm going to like brace myself for it to be like some like C-list Jedi. It's not going to be Luke. It was Luke.
I was gonna say Kit Fisto, but he's dead. He's dead. But like someone was like
the son of Kit Fisto.
I honestly he's not C-list, but I had a dream last night that it was 1,000% Mace Windu, and I woke up this morning and I was like, if it's Mace Windu, and I had a premonition about it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, speaking of Mace Windu, at this point. The biggest Star Wars character who was dead but they brought back is Boba Fett, and I'm talking like in franchise history, the biggest character who died, as far as we knew, as far as we saw, as far as it was written, was Boba Fett. If you're not counting some of the comic books in the EU and all that other stuff, like on-screen stuff. And then they brought him back. Do you think there's a possibility? People have been talking about Sam Jackson, about bringing him back and being like, let's reveal that he lived. We'll see him in Obi-Wan. And I'm like, that's crazy. Dude got his hand cut off and blown out a window. But at this point, sure, why not? Like,
I have to say, I don't hate that at all, because he's also the only actor that's been killed off in Star Wars that's like, I'm not dead. I know I'm not dead. Please bring me back. Like, he's been pushing it for years, and they brought like everyone around him back, and he's probably like, son of a like,
seriously, they brought back Darth Maul. He got cut in half, Maul. Like, Mace Windu could have easily survived that.
I didn't see a body. He's alive. I'm 100% sure.
At this point, the only characters in Star Wars who die are the ones that die and then disappear. Like those are the only ones we can say definitively they're dead. Maud, you're muted.
Oh, I was saying no, they all come back in Endgame. They all disappeared, and they came back in Endgame. So no, that doesn't apply.
Avengers Endgame?
Yes, they disappeared, and they came back. So the thing that we have to understand, DC, Star Wars, Marvel, the reason why it's nerd content is because nerd stands for no one ever really dies. And they all come back.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, how have I also never heard that? That's brilliant. Oh my God.
Ryan is alive. He's turning in his grave. This is a great point from June. We got Ahsoka, Luke, Boba, and Bo-Katan all in one season, and a Thrawn name drop. I thought we would get Thrawn because he was mentioned, and they had established this hierarchy, and he's a bit of the puppet master pulling some strings here. But I think that what's really cool is Moff Gideon's the big bad of season 1 and 2. I don't know if you guys felt this as well. These are my notes that I was taking when I was watching it. I had a just kill him already count. And that was every single time he kept talking, or just in the more the finale continued, I was like, what the, just kill him already. And I
have a kill him moment.
Yeah, 5 times. 5 times I went back and went, please kill him already. So that was weird. But it sounds like once he's done and dusted, you need a new big bad. And that's going to be fun.
I had a thought about this. So he goes to like kill himself, right? And I assume that's because he has a lot of information in his head that he doesn't want out. But so at this moment, the Empire First Order, whatever we're calling them at the moment, they don't have like a leader, right? They're kind of just like all off in their little situations, just like doing things. That moment made me think he's reporting to somebody or something is going on, because I was like, why would he want to take his own life unless he's going to get in trouble? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Maybe he's working for Thrawn. That's what I would think.
I think it's possible.
I don't know why he didn't have the cat.
Oh yeah.
Suicide
because dudes that get installed that are in the former Empire, they're like pretty much set to kill themselves at one point. Like if you get that installed, I'm probably gonna have to bite down on my tooth. And so Grand Moff Gideon, he would never do it because he's never going to admit defeat in that way. So that's probably why he didn't go for that.
Imagine getting like a kill switch installed in your mouth.
Get a different job.
I'd be like, I don't want to work here.
Yeah. What did I was just reading, I think it was Aftermath. I'm in the middle of Aftermath, and that book so far has been the closest to Return of the Jedi and then setting up what the whole galaxy is going through. And that book features a bunch of different, like you're describing, Ash, like a bunch of different remnants of the Empire all kind of getting together and talking and being like, we have to figure out what the next step is. And there wasn't like a clear sort of second in command or person to kind of step up. So maybe Gideon is one of those people, but I also think that him taking himself out, it's probably he's reporting to somebody. I think when we saw Ahsoka and we got the name drop, at first I thought that's going to be season 3, but then I was talking about it with my buddies and I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a sneak backdoor pilot. Sure enough, it was. So now I'm thinking Thrawn is going to be the antagonist for the Ahsoka show. And Kathleen Kennedy and everybody, they were saying like now we've got Mandalorian, Rangers of the Republic, New Republic, and Mandalorian are all going to converge in like a storytelling event or whatever. Like the way the Netflix Defenders then just had the Defenders series where they all kind of teamed up in one. So I think my theory is Gideon's going to be the antagonist for season 3 still. I think that a bad guy who gets away from, or a bad guy who is captured by the good guys and is so afraid of the other bad guys, but then still is alive, is a very interesting bad guy. It makes me think of like Agent Smith in Matrix 2. When Agent Smith came back, Hugo Weaving, and he was kind of like, I'm disconnected from because of what Neo did to him and like blew him up. So he's like, I'm separate from, the evil AI, but I have my own ambitions. So now I'm kind of doing my own thing. That could be very interesting too. But I'm really hoping that season 3 is not going to be Boba, like you guys were saying. That's another show. But I'm open to Boba still being a part of the Mandalorian series. But I want season 3 to still be Din Djarin. I want it to be this character, Din, and I want it to be him reuniting with Grogu. If it really is the end of the Grogu story, rewrite that upcoming season 3 because it needs to be about Grogu still.
I agree. That's the core of the show. Like, I think what they're setting up right now, right, is it's going to be like the dynamic between Bo-Katan and Din and like restoring Mandalore and all that. And I can't imagine it pivoting that hard. Like, I think that's a cool storyline, but then you got to go get your boy back. We got to save him before Kylo Ren comes up. Like, I don't need it to be like,
oh my God.
Like, I'm a little concerned about the future here.
Do you think Ben is going to kill Grogu?
I'm just saying how long, like, where Luke's taking him, right? He's going to train him. He's got his little Jedi Academy. Like, how long is he going to keep him for? Because if he keeps him for, I think, like, I don't know what the timeline is right now. I think it's like 20 years from now is the big Ben Solo soiree.
Well, Grogu is 50 and he's still little.
We don't need Grogu to be there.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm nervous about. That's what I wrote in my notes as well. I was like, oh my God, is Ben going to kill Grogu?
How messed up would it be if Ben Solo is born like right now? And then they do like from season 2 to season 3, like a 5-year time jump. So then you have a little 5-year-old Ben Solo running around. He goes and he visits his uncle Luke. And then Ben Solo, because he's a psychopath, just immediately kills this child, Grogu. And that's when Luke's like, oh, I should probably start training Ben like full on because he is showing an indication that he's a psychopath.
Hector,
Wouldn't that
you're
be
a
sad?
psychopath for saying this. I cannot believe.
Oh
what
no,
I'm
please
hearing right
no.
Or Din realizes that he loves him like a son. First of all, I don't know why Din didn't go with him. Like, you're sending your kid off to kindergarten, go with him and look through the window and make sure he's okay. Like, what else are you doing, Din? We got to get back to work. What are you doing? Go with him.
Can't have any attachment, even though we find out that every single Jedi was like secretly in love with somebody. So
Right.
And
Yes.
and maybe the Luke that we get in Last Jedi, where he talks about how flawed the Jedi Order was, kind of begins here, because this is that Luke who's like all about it. This is that Return of the Jedi Luke who's like, I am a Jedi like my father before me. And it's like, bro, you trained with a puppet for a couple days. You're, like, you're old, you're in your 20s, like you're playing, you're super powerful in the Force, which is cool. We saw that with the robots.
He's gonna get attachment issues as well because of Yoda and because of that relationship they had where Yoda was like a grandfather figure and now he's doing baby. So the cycles is complete now.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that and I'm overwhelmed.
Hopefully Luke can come to that realization and be like, you know what? You're better off with your father, the Mandalorian. Let me message him so he can come and pick you up. Like, you can
He
still.
never had a father.
Yeah.
Oh.
He had an uncle. Luke.
Luke. There's some Baru over here. There's some really great questions in here. Luther Hitchens saying, do you think that they had this planned for the show from day one? Because now Din Djarin has claimed the Darksaber. He is the Mandalorian. Great observation. I'm loving that. There's a bunch of good questions coming up in here. This one as well, I'd love to address. Chris Guthrie saying, no one in the show seems bothered with what happened to Grogu's blood. How will that factor into future episodes?
Is it Snoke?
Yeah. I think that's where we all think they're going. But I don't think they like realize they're just like, oh, okay, you took some of my kid's blood, like whatever. I just want my kid back. I don't think they realize like what the potential is there.
We do. We realize it, the audience. But yeah,
Moff Gideon was like, I've got his blood, and let me tell you all the things I'm going to do with the blood, because he's this like exposition city, and that's when I go kill him. But it's just like he had to do all the exposition for the Elder Wand rules for the Darksaber. He had to mention the blood. It's like, oh, that's how they kept him alive, because he's literally providing exposition for not only what's happening now, but what will happen later.
Oh my God, when he was like, yeah, go ahead, get out of here. Just let me have the Darksaber. I was like, what is happening? Like, if it ends like this, I'm gonna scream. Of course it didn't.
We haven't really touched on it yet, but I do really want to talk about the dubstep droid.
Yes. I want to dance to that song like JWoww at Karma. That soundtrack, which by the way dropped today, so you can go listen to it on Spotify. I don't know why I'm plugging it like I'm Ludwig Göransson, but it was so good.
So I have
Ash, you're more excited about the dubstep than Luke Skywalker. What's going on, Ash?
I think so. I'm a little bit in shock about the Luke Skywalker thing. I'll process that at a later date. But the dubstep, like, come on.
Yeah, every single time we turn to them, it's like
it's all positives with the dubstep, with the Luke Skywalker, and the fact that he was used into the story, and the fact that we had like CG, but Mark Hamill did the voice or was a part of them doing the voice. I am really interested in seeing how everybody is reacting to it. And I don't think it's all the way split down the middle. I feel like it's mostly positive. But I am seeing a lot of people going like, man, I really like The Mandalorian because it wasn't the Skywalker saga, because we didn't have, and I think it's all very valid. I think it's very interesting and it's very valid. And especially with the sequel, first and foremost, a little rough. Maud, my answer to that question is the CG was pretty rough.
This is the first time they've done it. We did it with Tarkin and Leia.
Yep.
And now we're doing it with Luke. I love that we have the flexibility that we can bring back characters that are old, but like keep them in the story.
Yeah. Rise of Skywalker
too, and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker.
They
had the helmets to kind of help out and stuff. Like, I think that really helped. I think it was mostly fine. I think that this being a show for children, it's good. I'm interested to see like what a kid would think if you show them Return of the Jedi and then you show them chronologically The Mandalorian. Are they going to be like, oh, cool, it's all made at the same time? Like, I'm interested in kid brain thinking about this whole huge mega franchise, but I think it's very interesting to see people react to it. I think that a lot of the decisions that have been made on the Lucasfilm side, the Disney Lucasfilm side, since they started these in 2015, a lot of it has been gauging reactions and has been reactionary. A lot of it has been powering through with really interesting and original storytelling stuff. But a lot of it has been, okay, let's give them something a little challenging and then let's comfort food. And then a little challenging and then let's comfort food. And all of the different projects that kind of fell through up to this point, not counting that huge Investor Day announcement convention, but certain things fell through. It's like, okay, Lord and Miller doing Solo. It's like, maybe it's too challenging. Let's pull back. Let's get comfort food. Let's bring in Howard. He's going to just finish it out and nail it. And I feel like the sequel trilogy, which I love for all of its flaws, I really do love it. I think it's so interesting that the internet that grew up with the prequels decided, let's embrace Clone Wars because it fixes the prequels. But if this show or anything else enhances. But if this show or anything else were to attempt to fill in some of the storytelling gaps of the sequel trilogy or enhance it, I'm seeing a lot of Star Wars fans being like, no, let's erase the sequel trilogy. And now it's the Mandalorian and we get super OP Luke Skywalker. And I'm like, you guys are missing the point. You can't be that way with one part of it and shut off I don't like the prequel movies. I of course accept them as like they're there and the Clone Wars show is great. And I like a lot of the story in those movies, but I think it's really interesting to see fans react to this whole Luke thing and the ramifications and what it could mean for like them tackling this stuff years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people comment on the CGI stuff too, and I have a lot of thoughts on this. But like, first and foremost, if they I'm Team Sebastian Stan. I think he would be a great
Yes.
Luke Skywalker. But I think if they cast him, it would have gotten out. There's too many people involved. There's reps, there's agents, there's assistants, there's all that stuff. Like, there's a reason that Rosario and Katie and all that casting got out on the trades or whatever. So we would have known about it. And I feel like if this is his one and only appearance, like, that's fine. Like, it does kind of like, no matter how good they look, it still throws me off a little bit to see those kinds of things. But if he's going to be like in the show, I think they got to cast somebody.
That was my question for you guys was, do you think this was like a one and done? He probably won't pop up in The Mandalorian again unless it's just voice, or do you think he's going to have like a big role in the next season?
Great question. A great question, because I said earlier, I want season 3 to be about Din being like, no, you know what? I miss my son. I love him. I'm going to go get him. And you kind of can't do that without some Luke Skywalker appearance. But I don't want Luke to be, I don't want him to be as featured even as much as, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the actress's name, the amazing Strangers with Candy, who's in Tatooine with the beautiful fro. When
Sasha.
No.
Sedaris?
Amy Sedaris, yes, I just referenced a show she was in 15 years ago on Comedy Central, Strangers with Candy. It's great. Amy Sedaris, she's so good in it. I don't even want to see Luke featured as much as she was, where she's like having those great little scenes and then like babysitting and stuff. But like, how do you reunite them without you need some sort of Luke CG moment? Maybe it takes a whole season, but I'm going to miss Grogu for a season. If the whole season is just little vignettes of him training, but then you cut back to Din being like, I gotta find where Luke went. I miss my son or whatever. That's going to be weird too.
Guys, we didn't have a Grogu last episode, and I felt that. Like, I missed him. And that was one episode.
Yeah, it's the core of the show. Like, it won't work, I don't think. But I've been proven wrong time and time again by everything that's happened in The Mandalorian, so don't listen to me.
I want to talk about a moment that Leo and I kind of predicted would happen last week when we had the wonderful Amy Ratcliffe along, and that was, what do you think will happen at the end of the finale? And we said we think that Din's going to take his helmet off so that these two can connect. And I was like, they were saying, what if Yoda looks into his eyes and says Papa or something? We didn't get Papa, but we did get this tear-jerking moment. I was a bit of a mess. I thought it was super, super sweet because he's saying goodbye, Papa. What do you think that this means now for Din Djarin now that he's kind of shirking his code?
I think going off of what Hector said, I think he's going to really realize at this point, I can't let this kid go. Because he had that moment with him. It was just so gripping and it was so emotional and just so beautiful, especially coming right after the Luke Skywalker moment. And when the last we see of Din Djarin is just the camera's like panning back slowly, and he's just like looking, and you can kind of feel that regret a little bit. He wants to have Baby Yoda back with him. Here I go calling Grogu Baby Yoda, but he wants to have him back with him. And I just think the next season, is going to be him realizing I can't live without him. I mean, we've seen him go from just doing his thing in season 1 all the way now to I can't even be without this kid. I'll do whatever it takes to get him back. There's no way he's not going to go back for Grogu, I don't think.
I agree with Leo. I think it's going to be, he is going to rethink his code, not just because he's, hanging out with Bo-Katan and all of them and they have a different Mandalorian culture, but I think the whole point of the show, and I've seen a lot of people talk about this online, which is really exciting, is that it's about a character who was living one way of life as an individual, realizing over the course of these 2 seasons that he can be a part of friendships and relationships and community. He can have a child and he can be a father and he can, it's so interesting. If you look for that kind of stuff, it's all sprinkled throughout the first season episode directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, where he goes to that planet and there's like a bunch of villagers and he has to fight off the AT-AT or the chicken walker or whatever. I feel like even that's the beginning of like this woman telling him, you could live here, you can have a life here, you can do this, you can do that. It's all building up towards Mando realizing what's important to him and what's not. And before, everything was about the code. This is the way. And now, if he's willing to show his face to Bill Burr, of course he's going to show his face to his son. I'm sure that went through his head too. He's like, I did this to get the info to get to him. I love him. I don't care who's in this room. He holds up his little hand. He wants to see your face. Come on. It is beautiful. I'm trying to make Maud cry right now. And then Grogu looked up at him and he said, what's my name? And Pedro Pascal said, Severus Albus?
No,
Severus. Albus Severus Potter.
For those that don't know, I told Hector that it's happening. It works every time. Anytime someone says Albus Severus, I'm a mess. That part of the Harry Potter books just left me wounded. But yeah, there's a bit of a split between what people want from season 3, whether it's, going to focus on the Mandalore politics and that side, or whether it's, going to be reunited with maybe a souped up Grogu. We're not entirely sure. I actually do think that you're right. Season 1 and now 2 is Din being faced with, I say no to everything and I come up with so many hurdles, and the way is causing me like personal kind of conflict. And I think it's true. He's going to start following his way. And I think by seeing Bo-Katan constantly have her helmet off in any other scenario and then donning it on for battle, I think that's really symbolic. And I really like that could happen. I'm also noticing, and I want to ask you guys as well, does it feel like a different show when we actually see Pedro Pascal and his face acting as Din?
That's a great
think
question.
we're getting a lot more Pedro, like behind the scenes wise this season. Like I feel like last season he did a lot of the voice and there was like other people in the suit at a lot of the times. And I feel like he's actually in the suit for like the majority of this season.
Yeah.
So it does feel different.
And I think that the Bill Burr episode was so great. And even though some people were saying it killed the momentum of like, you got to find the kid. What's happening? Let's stop and do this side quest for a whole episode with Bill Burr. It's about reminding you who's under the helmet. And they gave us a perfect situation for him to take off the helmet. Even if it was a little Star Wars contrived, which I love. I just love the jankiness of Star Wars where they can travel faster than light, but they're like, I got to go find this one computer in a cafeteria. Like it's fine, whatever. But once they did it, the perfect reason for him to do it, the system scanned him. We're reminded who's under the mask. We had a whole scene with him and Bill Burr and that other dude. So you're watching Pedro act. Your brain is just like registering. Okay, that's a Mandalorian. That's a Mandalorian. That's a Mandalorian. And then I think that helped this scene, because if we didn't see his face until this episode, this season, I think I would have been much more like, oh yeah, it's Pedro Pascal. He must have been on set that one day. But now I'm like, that's been him since day one, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I saw someone in the comments mention Sabine too, and yeah, she needs to show up. And I think like The Mandalorian is the show that she shows up. Like it's not
Boba,
the spinoffs. It's got to be this one.
Snuff. I don't agree completely. I think that he's not just a guy. It humanizes him. I think we are talking the fact that he's so sort of there's disconnect there, and that provides a stoicism, that provides, a lack of vulnerability. And then when he removes that, he's literally like taking off not only his personal armor, but his, emotional armor. And I really like seeing all of the emotions and turmoil and things that are going on. Pedro is such an amazing actor. I feel more connected to him, but it's also true and last week, Leo and I went on this big tangent about what the helmet represents in Star Wars. And in this instance, like the last time we saw a character who wore a helmet the whole time remove it was Kylo Ren. And I said that every single time I watched The Force Awakens in cinemas, people laughed when that happened. But in this instance, it was like a heart rip moment where it was so sort of well done. But I do think that there are a lot more times where the show could benefit from actually getting Din Djarin's acting, his humanization in moments.
I think when he has the helmet on, he's Star Wars, but with it off, he's just a father, Snarf, and that's who I love. I love Mandalorian as a father, not as a Star Wars guy. I have enough Star Wars guys. I want more fathers in Star Wars.
This galaxy far, far away is full of daddy issues. Can we just finally have a good relationship between father and little green boy?
Also, speaking of good relationships, I didn't know this. Is Pedro Pascal? Is his like lady love Sarah Paulson? Is that a real thing?
Sarah Paulson's been with Holland Taylor for a long time.
Who's Pedro Pascal with?
I saw him at my dog park once.
Yeah, I don't really subscribe to his personal life too much.
Hey, you're making me sound like like a nosy Nelly. He put a great
nosy Nelly over here.
He put a great Instagram post of Sarah Paulson dancing, and he said, "Dancing to Prince with this woman for more than half my life. Happy birthday, you fucking goddess." Miss Sarah Catherine Paulson. That's her Instagram. And I was like, that's not. They must just be friends for more than half his life, which is great.
That can happen. Yeah.
They're long-time BFFs.
All right. Well, I wonder who. Now I am curious because I just want Pedro to be happy.
Oh, need salt. I'm going to pour some salt on your wound here. Mara Jade, I don't think is going to happen.
I'm open to it.
I know for a fact that it is George Lucas's least favorite character.
Really?
Like that Mara Jade exists.
Really?
Because Mara Jade represents the thing that the Jedi should not succumb to, and that's relationships. George Lucas was always so adamant about the structure of what represents the dark side and the light, and the dark side is seduction, and that's why they cannot be in relationships, which is why the younglings are, trained from a very infantile age. It's like so they can disconnect and focus just on the light side and order. And when that whole sort of thing happened in Expanded Universe, he was just like, nah. But it was like, that's the thing. And then Dave Filoni was like, no.
Obi-Wan was like,
with Satine. With Duchess Satine. Right here. Duchess Satine. She's right here. I'm trying to do, I really want to be played Duchess Satine for any flashbacks in the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great.
And so let's get those.
You got her cheekbones, Maud. You have her cheekbones. That's amazing.
I just want to pass on with Ewan McGregor. But anyway,
you know what? Here's the thing, though, Maud. I would have agreed with you wholeheartedly, except that last night at midnight I watched an episode that brought back CG Luke Skywalker. So I have been saying this episode has completely changed my opinion of like how ambitious I think these shows are going to be. I'm not counting anything out. I'm not counting anything out. And there's a part of me that wants them to do a version of Mara Jade only because Mara Jade, I've seen online, consistently praised as so many people's favorite character who's kind of not around anymore. People love her, but I've also seen people kind of hold her up as like, see, here's the prime example of a great way to do XYZ, a great way to do a female character, a great way to do this, a great way to do that, instead of sort of like really looking at what that character did and how she was depicted or how she was written and seeing, with something that was in expanded universe books in the early 90s, would that fly today? And I would love for these storytellers to do a version of Mara Jade, whether she's with Luke or not, just to be like, okay, you guys want Mara Jade? Here's Mara Jade. Here's the work we're doing on this character. And here's how we're writing her. Because if we did it just like she was in the books, people would be like, this is not great. People would maybe question it. People would maybe, challenge it. I only read the first classic Thrawn novel where it introduces Mara Jade as the assassin who's sent to kill Grogu needs a mommy, Mara Jade. Sure. But my point is, I'm just trying to wrap up. My point is that I feel as though Mara Jade is a little bit of a wish fulfillment character. And this is coming from a guy whose favorite character is Spider-Man. So I know all about unobtainable redheads. I know all about unobtainable redheads. You don't have to tell me. I know how messed up I was by that. You don't have to tell me. But maybe this awesome badass assassin female character who's gorgeous and redheaded and then eventually falls in love with Luke because Luke is this sort of, the way that Luke was depicted in a lot of EU stuff was like he's really perfect superhero guy. He's really, he's video game level up character versus like interesting and flawed and it makes mistakes and is challenged. So I would love for a Mara Jade to come back so that people can kind of grapple with like would a character like that work? How would they do it? Is there a version where she can still exist and people kind of get what they want, like a Boba Fett? Whereas like the rest of the very, to me, interesting Luke story, old man Luke, can still happen. I don't know.
I'm going to burst a bubble here. It seems like the process for all of this is Dave Filoni being the gatekeeper of what works and what doesn't. He plucked Thrawn from Expanded Universe and he was like, this is such a great character. I'm bringing it into Rebels. And I really do think that Clone Wars and Rebels have acted as the passageway into what's going to be in store for the Mandalorian. We've already seen it with Thrawn as well. Ahsoka being like, brought into real life. So I think if Mara Jade hasn't done the treatment in any capacity here, even though it doesn't really fit the timeline, I just don't see it happening. That they've got a lot to work with. This means we can get Sabine. This means there can be like the Ezra Thrawn kind of saga. There's a lot to do. And I think that it's all up to Dave Filoni, and I'm stoked about it. I'm asking you guys right now, what is your favorite moment of the finale if you had to choose?
Oh, Luke, that from the X-Wing all the way to Luke walking into the into the room where they're at. Just flawless. That hallway scene was fantastic.
I agree. It's like my personal like emotional journey that I went through on that of like seeing the X-Wing and you're like, okay, well, who would show up? Like, I don't think it's Trapper Wolf. It's got to be like somebody else. And then you see Grogu have that moment where he's like, I sense this. And I'm like, well, what Jedi would be on an X-Wing? It's either Luke or like maybe Leia, but it's probably Luke. And then you see the green lightsaber and then you see the glove. And it was just like, it just kept unfolding. And I wish I could watch that for the first time again.
I would like to do a dramatic reading of the notes that I was taking through this moment.
Please.
Because I started using all caps. All right. It starts off with, actually, I was saying, can't they just reprogram the droids? They're not human. They have weaknesses. And I was like, why aren't they? They're all waiting there, waiting for the door to open. And I'm like, boom, shut them down. But anyway. X-Wing equals Jedi. Who the fuck in the hood? Green saber, Luke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 question marks after it. Gloved right hand. Gotta be a Jedi Master. End of Rogue One vibes, but in reverse. My heart. Damn. Fuck. Deepfake. Will Ben kill Grogu? Helmet off. My heart. Now my eyes. Fucking R2, man.
Oh, yeah. We gotta mention that R2 shows up.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Were you
as soon
writing
as you hear that beeping?
It was so cute. Were you writing this down, Maud, while watching the show like this? Or were you looking at your notes at all? Were you just going like this? Wow.
Yeah. I'll do that again. Our second favorite moment is Boba Fett meeting Bo-Katan. Woo! Yeah, they got it. Yes.
That was a good.
Yeah, I gotta say that the post credits just shot of Fennec and Boba Fett sitting there on the throne was so cool, and I almost skipped it because when you get to the end of the Mandalorian and it automatically tries to make you watch Disney Gallery and you got to go back because you want to watch the credits. It's so frustrating. And this time they weren't doing it, and I was like, oh, they're not doing it this time. Okay, I'll just chill. And then we see thick ass Bib Fortuna.
Ooh, not Luke. Ooh.
Yeah. I think my favorite moment is I'm having difficulty deciding between. I liked when that one stormtrooper fell and then fell through space because I was watching it with my friends and when they got on the walkway, I was like, "So you'll just fall through space in this room?" And my friends were like, "No, I'm sure that's like a force field, like an invisible." And sure enough, a stormtrooper fall through space, and I was like, "Yes."
The force field just stops it allows
the environment.
The Empire continues to not believe in railings.
I think I loved the Mando Gideon fight, which was really well done. It was such good choreography, the spear versus the saber. And then just the helmet moment, really, I almost choked up. I was almost there. And I was feeling it. And it was really, really, really beautiful. As cool as Luke Skywalker was. Just the helmet moment was reminding you, like, okay, you got your fan service, but the show's about Pedro and this puppet. And y'all better focus on that in season 3 or I'm going to be very upset.
I love the fight choreography. Hello. I love the fight choreography with Mandalore, like, the jetpack and the fact that they have, so many gadgets, the rockets, but when they're fighting with each other and they were able to jetpack into a kick, stuff like that. And then they both put their flamethrowers kind of at each other at the same time. Like that kind of, for me, was so exciting. I was like, there's so much possibility with their combat, especially when they're at each other.
Fennec Shan too. Like I feel like a couple episodes we really saw her in action, but she had some of the best fight choreography in this episode. I thought she was just amazing. She's gonna be in like all the spinoffs. I'm so excited for her.
Yeah, Bad Batch, Book of Boba Fett.
Yep.
Good for her. Considering
the Mandalorian.
Yeah, considering she was a character who, after her episode in season 1, I was like, oh man, they really wasted Ming-Na. She's so great. They really wasted her.
This is this whole thing about daddy issues again. My favorite moment was when Bo-Katan told Boba Fett that Jango was his donor, not his father.
Oh my God.
Like,
That's dumb.
I recognize that voice. Yeah, I've heard it all over the galaxy. Absolutely. So let's talk about this. I'm changing
so cool.
Where is it?
Damn, what a shot.
Let's talk about that post-credit scene. This is so freaking badass. She's drinking, what is that, Java juice? She's got the whole thing on. But who wants to go first talking about that?
I have no idea. What is it? It's just going to be Boba the Hutt. That's the show. The Book of Boba Fett. He's going to take over this Hutt crime family, this crime syndicate.
Were you here yet when we were talking about the Underworld stuff?
A little bit, yeah. Was that a show or like a video game or something? You think they're going to repurpose some of that stuff?
I think it was like originally supposed to be the first like live action Star Wars show, and then it went away. And I feel like it's going to be like the essence of that a little bit. It's also just funny because this is just when, like, I know we talked about the investor call, but when we were listening to Kathy talk about it, and I was like, the way she said like next chapter coming in December 2021 was like really vague and confusing, and I didn't know what she was talking about. I was like, she's talking about Ahsoka, she's talking about Mandalorian. It's like, oh, sly dog, you're talking about the Book of Boba Fett.
I'm also dying to know. Very nice.
Cool. That's awesome.
Is that a holiday Baby Yoda mask?
Yes.
Cool. That's a small amount of window that you can wear that.
Hopefully.
Pretty much this weekend, and that's it. And then you're done.
Yeah.
I want to know from everybody, because I don't think I saw Maud. I think I saw you talking about this online. Leo, what out of all the investor call shows that were announced, which one are you most? What's your number one? Ash, what is it? Is it Taika Star Wars? Is it Patty Jenkins? Which one? One of the shows? Which one?
Probably Patty. I think that was like really exciting. I feel like she's been on the short list of like directors that people have put on their list for years and years and years. And then I just didn't see that coming at all. She had like just done a bunch of interviews, I think, for Wonder Woman, and like just nobody knew. But then Taika, of course, like they showed his this like weird Star Wars logo that kind of looked like School of Rock in all these colors, and I was like, what is he working on?
Yeah, Maud, which one's yours?
It's when I'm show up in the Obi-Wan series, actually.
Right. Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, sorry. I don't know why I said Hayden coming to Obi-Wan is gotta be the biggest thing.
And I gotta go Obi-Wan. That is like easily my favorite one. They're bringing back Hayden Christensen. He's gonna be Darth Vader this time. I'm wondering if they're gonna explore him without the helmet a lot more. I'm so excited.
Just like a burnt ass Hayden. Like, what is this gonna look like?
Yeah, right.
That's a great point.
Crispy.
My number one, because he's my favorite Star Wars character ever, and I'm so happy he gets to come back, even though he died. I'm excited about Andor. I'm really excited just to see all of the production stuff where they're like, this is going to be a movie. It looked gorgeous, and I love Diego Luna so much, and I'm excited now that we know that they brought back Boba Fett and Luke Skywalker in season 2. What are they going to do for Cassian Andor? What kind of ambitious Star Wars characters or moments or whatever could we see in Cassian Andor leading up to Rogue One, leading up to New Hope? I have no idea. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about that one.
I'm glad for Diego Luna, says Stephen Summers. Weirwood has said the Acolyte because we literally know nothing. I know someone who knows something. We have to find out how to make him talk. Years ago, someone slipped to Philip Molina from New Rockstars what the Acolyte's all about. And he's like, I have been sitting here for 2 years with this knowledge. And he's like, I'm just, I know what's going on with the Acolyte. And to
could have changed in 2 years. We don't, I mean, that information could have changed.
So to that, I want to say I was shown a scene from The Last Jedi 2 years before that came out. So it was in 2015, I got a scene from The Last Jedi and it came out, 2017. And can I just say everything that was in that scene did not happen. What was supposed to happen was the Knights of Ren were on a mission to assassinate Leia. And she summons Luke's saber to fight them off. And I'm like, I'm reading this going, my heart is imploding. I'm literally turning inside out. I want this more than anything. Instead I got Leia Supermaning through space. But that's a little bit of Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppinsing through space.
You're right. There was
So it was a script that you read. That's crazy. Yeah. The stuff changes on the fly all the time.
That doesn't exist anyway.
We know.
I wish there was more with the Knights of Ren, especially after The Force Awakens and the scene that, whatever.
Hey, maybe Mandalorian season 3 will set up the Knights of Ren mod and they'll make them super cool.
Even know. They got to get the Knights of Ben happening. Ben's got to be made during the night still. I did it for the pun, Hector. I'm not proud of it, but I did it for the pun. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you give this episode out of 10, Hex?
Man. Probably like a solid 8.5, 9, somewhere in there. I'm weird. My favorite episode of the whole season was the Cobb Vanth. Was Timothy Oliphant, episode 1.
Really?
That was my favorite episode of the whole season. I had a blasty blast watching that episode. I thought it was great. And really good special effects. And maybe, let's be honest, maybe COVID changed a lot of the special effects pipeline. This last episode looked phenomenal. Luke CG was a little wonky, but those droids look great.
They did.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely disagree with you. I felt like the first episode of this season felt like an episode of Fungeons and Flagons.
Every episode of this season
Why
felt
is that
like
a bad thing? The more that you get upset about that, the more you're insulting Fungeons, just letting you know.
Every episode was like an episode of Fungeons and Flagons mod. That's all great. Every episode was a side quest in D&D. That's exactly what the show is.
Thank you. It really was. Enter the tavern, see the armor.
Meet this guy.
If you take care of this problem that is hurting the town and in exchange the thing that you're after. I know, it was like...
Then go to this planet. Then meet this guy. And then go here.
Escort mission was next.
What's that?
Escort mission was next. Had to escort Frog Lady from A to B.
King of the Hill video game episode directed by Robert Rodriguez. Awesome episode.
Yeah,
that was a
And then this one was the rescue mission. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the last one was retrieval mission. Yeah, this is literally how to write a D&D campaign or like a Star Wars campaign 101. This is tabletop gaming with a script behind it and a big budget. Probably why I like it so much. But yeah, when it started getting a bit predictable, I was like, there's endless things that you can do. And I guess all they wanted was Timothy Oliphant in Boba Fett armor, which justifiable. It really is.
Yeah. It was justified.
Me and Maud felt the same way towards the beginning of the series. It was like, yo, all these things, like there's just these first two episodes just weren't the best to me, and then they got to 3 with Bo-Katan. It just kept going after that. It was one after another, bringing in all these new characters, exploring different planets. It just kind of sailed upward after that 3rd episode.
Agree. As soon as we got Bo-Katan, things got a lot better. With Cara Dune involved, do you think that the New Republic will get involved with the Mandalorian conflict?
Yeah, probably. If it's all the same timeline. I'm just hoping Dave Filoni is a straight up cast member in the Rangers of the New Republic. I hope he's like a top billed actor in that show.
Oh my God. It's so funny because when I talked to him, he was like, I didn't want to do that at all. Like I was so like embarrassed to be like a character. And then he like comes back.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah, love to see that.
A big thank you to Stephen Summers for donating, saying it's always fun to see Maud and friends talking about Star Wars. That's really sweet. And then, of course, Nathan, not to be outdone, dropped 4 times that pretty much and said, I forgot I was going to do this. As always, I read out the comments that are highlighted. One last thing, one thing I am at least excited about, one thing I am least excited about is Bad Batch because I don't know much about them, says Varen. I know someone who's in it and they were telling me about Bad Batch, and then I think I mentioned it, and then I looked it up on IMDb to see if the cast has been announced, and it hasn't. So whoops. So if you called that last week, that was for free.
That's why they gave you a fake script in 2015, Mod. They gave you a fake. They knew you were going to spill the beans. They gave you a fake Last Jedi script. They're like, here you go. Here's what Leia does.
Yeah, right. Maud will tell everyone, and we'll trace it back to her, and then we'll never trust her for anything ever again. Bad Batch. Is Fennec in Bad Batch? They were saying. Bad Batch. Harkin in it. I'm excited. So Bad Batch takes place when like they're doing all the experiments with the Clone Wars, and when they're making sort of like the numerous amounts of the Boba clones and Rex and all of that. The initial experiments, they did not come out 100%. There was a lot of trial and error, and so the Bad Batch is all about those trial and errors and the people that have been like, cloned before they mastered the cloning technique, and I guess they're just sent on missions to do things. And they've got some cool droids in there as well. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, you better quit while you're ahead because you may spill some stuff that also hasn't been revealed yet. Be careful.
Like a red sort of like dot appears.
Yeah.
On me, and I'm like, I have said too much.
I'm excited about Bad Batch because it is also something I don't know that much about. I want Disney and Lucasfilm to keep releasing half and half. Give me half of stuff that I feel like I'm all over and I know everything about. Oh, Cassian Andor, yeah. And then give me new stuff like Rogue Squadron. I have no idea. We don't know when it's going to take place. We don't know the characters in it. We don't know if it's based on anything. That's what I want. I want half and half. It's the same with Marvel stuff. Give me characters and shows that I know everything about, and it's like expected. And then give me Loki. I didn't think he was going to get a show. Wow, that looks crazy. Like that. That's what I want.
I just want to quickly answer this question from Snarf. Maudalorian, are you Australian? I'm actually from Coruscant. Thanks for playing. Any other things before we wrap things up? Good point, Hector. That was a good point. That was a good point.
Just that the last like 15 minutes of this episode was an emotional roller coaster. I mean, you get Luke coming in, you get the moment with with Grogu and with Mando, and then you get the post credit. Like, what a ride that episode was.
Leo, you can call him Baby Yoda. Just do it, man. It's okay.
I'm trying to go with the Grogu thing. I'm trying to change it.
They never called him Baby Yoda in the show anyway, so if you want to call him Baby Yoda like it's a nickname, go for it. They try to push the child. Did not.
Yeah, I would never go with the child.
I just want to know when we're going to see the next chapter of this because I think it could be pretty far away.
You mean when it'll actually release, or you mean when it'll take place in the Star Wars timeline?
I think both, like season 3 of The Mandalorian.
I don't think we'll get it 2021, do you?
I don't think so.
No, I think the Book of Boba is your filler. It's to kind of feed on in the interim while they do.
Aren't they filming season 3 now?
I think so.
Oh, well, with TV production.
I feel like, I don't know. I don't think it's coming next year.
Oh, really? Okay. Because Kathleen said the next chapter is 2021, December.
And I know like Disney Plus is like, we're going to do like 100 titles a year. We don't even care. Just like let it all happen. But I still think, I think they're going to want like a Empire Strikes Back-esque like breathing room.
Yeah.
I think you might be right now that you're saying it, which is okay. I also hope there is a little bit of a time jump because maybe I want Baby Yoda to have a little bit more skill. Like I want Luke to be with him for maybe like a year or 2.
We're going to see the same transition what Luke did. So when Luke went to Dagobah and did all of his training and then came back at the beginning of Return of the Jedi and he was a Jedi Knight and like that, we don't get the training.
Also, unless comic books filled it in, Luke did not go back to see Yoda after Empire Strikes Back.
But he did his training to become a Jedi Knight.
Where? When? How?
In between the episodes. But that's why he comes through and he's got a different color lightsaber and he's like super different. And then
we know because he's wearing a
different outfit. Let's get Grogu through preview.
Somebody commented and I started laughing, but I think Hector was on a really good run. That what if Grogu has like a baby lightsaber or something like that? And I pictured it, and I'm not doing well.
It's like a rattler. It's like a baby toy, but also it's a lightsaber.
What color would Grogu's lightsaber be?
Green.
Yoda.
No question.
What if it's purple?
If it's purple,
It's gonna be like silver because he's gonna be like, Dad.
oh,
Little Mando color. That's so cute.
it's gonna be brown like the color of his father's face. Oh, Pedro. I miss my dad.
Guts butter.
Butter knife.
Yeah, maybe. I just
Well, we'll wrap things up there. Unless you got Hector, you want to go off in a bang.
no, thank
Say
you
it.
so much for inviting me. It was lovely to hear you guys, and thanks for letting me jump in.
Yeah, this is awesome. What a massive, massive finale. So much to talk about. A lot of feels were had. Ash, thank you so much for being able to join me for this and share sort of all the insights. This is such a huge show. And 8 weeks did fly. It just absolutely flew by.
Oh,
Seriously.
But yeah,
So we'll be back here for the finale of WandaVision, right? That's the plan.
yeah, that's how this works. Any finale, you just drop on by. Fly on your finales. I love those. Ash, where can people find you if they want to learn more about you online?
Oh, the best place is just twitter.com. I'm at Ash Crossan. That's where I like pin all my stuff, but I'm also on etonline.com and ET Live. So I'll see you around. Come chat with me.
Oh, and what interviews have you done with the Star Wars cast that you want to plug too? Because you've interviewed nearly all of them.
Oh, yes. Well, this season specifically, I had an interview with Katie Sackhoff. It's on YouTube, and it's also pinned on my Twitter if you want to watch it. And it's really, really good. I talked to her for like 20 minutes, so definitely go watch it if you want a little more insight onto Katan's live action debut.
You guys were talking about Space Daddy Cobb Vanth. Yeah.
I mean...
Just got priorities, okay?
I always say if anybody out there needs to follow the authority on daddies of any variety, you have to follow Ash Crossan because she is the authority on daddies.
Appreciate you saying that, yeah.
Hector, if people want to learn more about you online, what are you up to at the moment?
Pull up another tab right now on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Heroes Reforged, and you can watch me and my homies. We just got through all the Mandalorian. We're reading a great comic book series right now called Invincible, my favorite series of all time. We have a bunch of cool new stuff planned. We just launched a Patreon as well. It's very exciting. Go do that. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Mwah.
Leo, you're doing a bunch of stuff as well. Do you want to plug where people can find you?
That is really cool. I actually just started Invincible, so I am super excited to dive into that more. But I cover pretty much the exact same things, Star Wars, movies. Coming up, I'm going to check out that We Can Be Heroes, but you can find me on YouTube, Geekly Goods, and I do reviews every week and content on the latest in geek.
And I am Maud Garrett. If you haven't subbed to Geek Bomb, please do. We're doing a bunch more stuff, including a lot of Among Us. I like to kill now. It took me a while, but I'm feeling good about it. So thank you so much for joining us. That's it for the Maudalorian. Thank you for joining us for these recaps. Hector, so glad you popped by. Have a great rest of the week. And thanks, Elijah, for the little the donation as well. I really appreciate that. Good timing with it because we're going to end on that note. All right, bye.